Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are diving deep into a head-to-head comparison between two popular standard zoom lenses for Sony E-mount, the Sigma 28 to 70mm f2.8 DG/DN Contemporary and the Sony 24 to 70mm f2.8 G Master. Whether you're a professional, hybrid shooter or a content creator on a budget, this comparison will help you to figure out which lens is the best for your needs. You are probably wondering why I'm comparing these two lenses when they don't have exactly the same focal length. Quite simple, I want to show that more expensive and bigger isn't always better. What I can say right now is that they are going to be a big surprise, so stay tuned. As always, we will start with the specs, followed by the image quality and the conclusion. Let's start with the technical specs. Although both lenses differ in many characteristics, they also have a lot in common. Both have the same max aperture of f2.8 and can go down to a min aperture of f22. Both lenses are weather sealed and have 9 aperture blades that ensures a smooth bokeh. The size of a lens is a crucial factor to consider when comparing two lenses. Sony is the longer of the two lenses at 136mm. The Sigma with the length of 102mm is 34mm shorter. Besides being longer, the Sony also has a larger diameter of 88mm compared to the Sigma 27mm diameter. The weight of a lens is equally significant as its external dimensions, especially if you intend to handhold your camera and lens combination for extended periods. The Sigma weighs 470 grams, which means is 416 grams, almost 50% lighter than the Sony, which has a weight of 886 grams. The Sigma has a filter size of 67mm, whereas the Sony has 82mm filter size. Larger filters are generally more expensive than smaller ones, given all the other features are equal. The Sony feels rock solid. It's built like a tank with premium finish. It also has an AF/MF switch and custom button on the lens barrel. The Sigma is much lighter and made of high quality plastic. It's not fragile, but it's definitely not as rugged. If you are shooting in tough environments, rain, dust or extreme cold, the G Master is clearly more capable, but the Sigma wins big in portability and weight. One advantage of the Sigma lens is its minimum focus distance of only 19 cm compared to the Sony's 38 cm. But the biggest difference is probably the price. The Sigma is currently available for €700, while the Sony G Master costs €1,700. We will find out if this G Master is really worth the price later in our image quality test. So right off the bat, we are looking at a nearly double weight and size for the G Master and over double the price. But of course, those numbers don't tell the whole story. Let's dig deeper into performance. What about the autofocus? The Sony G Master uses a direct drive SSM motor, which provides fast, silent and precise autofocus. It works seamlessly with the Sony's latest real-time tracking and eye autofocus systems for both stills and video. The Sigma 28 to 70 uses a stepping motor, which is reasonably quick and silent, but not as fast or sticky when it comes to tracking moving subjects, especially in challenging lights. So if you are doing a lot of fast action or rely heavily on eye autofocus for video work, the G Master does give you a more responsive and reliable autofocus experience. The G Master tends to produce richer contrast and more saturated colors out of the box, great for skin tones and punchy images. The Sigma has a slightly flatter profile, which may actually be preferred by some editors who grade their photos and videos extensively in post. Okay, we have heard a lot about the features of both lenses, but what about the image quality? Over the next few minutes you will see a lot of comparison images, so you will be able to make up your own mind about the quality of both lenses. Enjoy! So let's start with our sharpness test. You see here on the left side the Sigma lens. I've choose here an aperture of f2.8, a focal length of 28mm and an ISO of 100. And on the right side you see the G Master lens with a focal length of 24mm, an aperture of f2.8 and also an ISO of 100. This is only to show you how much more you can get with the extra 4mm on the wide end. So, but what about the sharpness? If we zoom in the middle, on the first look, they are similar. Let's go to the right corner. As you can see here, the Sigma lens is a little bit sharper than the Sony lens. And just for your information, I've choose always the same focus point, but as you can see here, the Sigma lens in the corner is sharper than the Sony lens. So let's compare 28mm to 28mm on the Sony. As you can see here, 28mm on the Sigma lens, and on the right side, okay, there is 27mm, but for a comparison, I think it's okay. An ISO of 200 and also an aperture of 2.8. And what we see on the first look is that the Sigma lens has a strong vignette here on the aperture of 2.8, but there is something that you can correct in post. So if we zoom in on the middle, okay, here I think the Sigma lens again is a little bit sharper than the Sony lens. What about the right corner? Okay, more or less equal. What about the left corner? Okay, it's equal. The sharpness is more or less the same on 28mm on f2.8. So what about 50mm on 2.8? Again, on the left side, you see here on 50mm the Sigma lens, aperture 2.8, ISO 100, and on the right side, the Sony G Master lens with 50mm or 51mm, okay, ISO 125 and an aperture of 2.8. So on the first look, both looks more or less the same. What we see now at f2.8 on 50mm, the vignette has been gone, is more or less the same like the Sony lens. And if we zoom in, the sharpness, okay. Take a look here at the leaf. It looks like the Sigma is here again the winner. But what about the corners? It's difficult, but I think here, yes, if you take a look here at the leaves here, the Sigma lens is sharper than the Sony lens at f2.8. What about the left corner? Here again, look at the leaves here and here at the Sony lens. This is crazy. And the stone here, the stone, the sharpness here on the Sigma lens and on the G Master. And remember, we are speaking about a G Master lens which cost €1,000 more than the Sigma lens here. Okay, let's go to the 70mm test. Again, aperture of 2.8 on the Sigma lens, 70mm ISO 160, and on the G Master lens, the right side, 70mm f2.8 ISO also 160. Let's zoom in. Wow. Look at this. How sharp the Sigma lens is here at the leaves. And on the right side, the G Master. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's go to the edges. To the right edge. Okay. Here the stone, again, sharper than the G Master lens. And the leaves here. Wow. This is crazy. At 70mm, how sharp the Sigma lens is. Look, the softness here on the G Master and f2.8. What about the left corner? Again, the Sigma lens is sharp from the middle to the edge. And the Sony lens, it's still sharp but softer. Look at the EXIF data. This is the G Master lens. This is the Sigma lens. So what about if you use an aperture of f5.6? Here on the left side, again, the Sigma lens, f5.6, a focal length 28, ISO 100, and on the right side, the Sony G Master lens with a focal length of 24mm, f5.6 and ISO 100. And these are the extra 4mm that you get here with the G Master lens. Let's zoom in. And on the first look, the sharpness is more or less comparable. And on the corners, I see no difference between both pictures here. Maybe here a little bit. The Sigma is a little bit sharper than the Sony. Yes, you see it here. Again, Sigma lens is sharper than the Sony. So let's compare 28mm to 28mm on the Sony. Let's zoom in. Okay. At the middle, it looks like the Sigma is even sharper. Let's go to the edges. Difficult. It's more or less the same here. Oh no, here the Sigma is even sharper again. Yeah, you see it here. Look at the details here on the Sigma lens and on the Sony lens. But there was a big improvement from f2.8 to f5.6 from the Sony lens. Let's go to the right side. Yeah, here the sharpness is more or less comparable. Yes, it's the same. So what about 50mm at f5.6? The first look, both pictures looks identical. Let's zoom in. Here in the mid frame, the sharpness is more or less the same. I see no winner here. What about the right edge? Maybe the Sigma lens again a little bit sharper, but it's difficult. It's very difficult to say which is the winner here. And at the left corner, yes, the same sharpness at f5.6 50mm. What about 70mm? On the left side, the Sigma lens 70mm f5.6 ISO 100. The right side, the G Master lens f5.6 70mm ISO 100. Let's zoom in. Okay. Maybe here is the G Master a little bit sharper, but very difficult. Very difficult. Let's go to the right corner. Yeah, here, maybe the G Master again a little bit better now. But the sharpness is identical. I don't see a winner here. What about the left corner? Okay, again, same sharpness. Same sharpness, even here. Even the Sigma lens is here a little bit sharper than the Sony lens. But the sharpness is more or less identical on both lenses. Okay, that was the sharpness test, which was quite surprising, wasn't it? Next, I will show you some more comparison images, and then we will meet again for the conclusion.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire.
Welcome back. As you can see from the image comparison, the Sigma keeps up with the Sony in terms of image quality. It's even sharper in some cases, especially at an aperture of f2.8. I'm really impressed with how Sigma has managed to produce this image quality in such a compact size. The only disadvantage of the Sigma is the vignette at 28mm and the missing 4mm at the wide end. The question is if these missing features really justified the extra €1,000 and double the weight of the G Master. Alright, so which one should you choose? Choose the Sony if you are a professional who needs a good quality build and autofocus performance. If you are shooting weddings, commercial videos or sports where reliability and fast performance are non-negotiable. Or if you want a lens that will last for years, even in harsh conditions. Choose the Sigma if you are a travel or street photographer, hybrid shooter or beginner filmmaker on a budget. Or if you value lightweight gear and don't want to compromise too much on image quality. Or if you are building a lightweight gimbal or vlogging rig. At the end of the day, both of these lenses are fantastic, but for different kinds of shooters. If you need uncompromising performance and you can afford it, the G Master is hard to beat. But if you want excellent image quality in a compact and affordable package, the Sigma 28-70 Contemporary is one of the best deals out there right now. I hope I was able to give you a good overview of both lenses. If you're interested to buying one of these, you will find the link in my description. Feel free to write your questions or suggestions in the comments. I will try to answer them as best I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss my upcoming gear reviews. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.